There's no excuse. Instead of always looking at increasing load with poor form, why not try out these 3 ideas, these 3 tips to help you 10x your hamstring, which means more muscle in half the time. What's up everybody, Coach Troy Brown, IFBB Pro, apexphysique.ca, your go-to resource for physique development and physique transformation. Today we're talking about the leg curl. Do you want to have hamstrings like this guy? Or what about this guy? Or what about this guy? Well, if that's so, you've come to the right place. I want to show you the seated leg curl. I've done a video on this before, but I'm going to show you some different ideas that I think can help 10x your hamstring results, so that way you can build more muscle and look more round and symmetrical from a side-on angle. Right, so what we're going to do, look at the seated leg curl, and this is primarily a hamstring exercise, right? But what we want to do is look at how can we get the most out of this movement? How can we squeeze all the juice out of that towel to really maximize this exercise? So I'm going to show you 2, maybe 3 tips that you can maximize your hamstrings and make them grow and make them bigger to create more roundness and more size on the side-on profile. So what we're going to do is show you the exercise first. Obviously you want to set everything up first of all before you start. So what they say about the seated leg curl, what they say, research is showing that it activates more hamstring as opposed to the lying leg curl. And based on the research and based on work with clients and based on anecdotal practices, they're absolutely right. And the reason why is because the hips are in a flex position, which puts more stretch on the hamstring, right? So the hamstring is fully stretched, and then when it's under load, it's going to be contracting. Muscle being stretched while it's contracting, that's a great idea. So what we're going to do, right, we're going to make sure, obviously we've got set up, we want to make sure that our knees are in line with the mark here. There's a little bullseye on the side here, so we want to make sure that our knees are in line. Our lumbar spine is pressed into the bench. That way we've got a nice flat vertebrae. And then what we're going to do is basically push on, stabilize our body, and then get our heels to our backside, right? And then come up, controlled eccentrics. What I find, the hamstring is very similar to the bicep. Biceps love slow contractions. And I think the hamstring or the leg bicep activates exactly the same way. So it's a quicker pace in, slower negative back. So usually you're probably using about a 3-0-1 cadence. 1, 2, 3. Lock in here, stabilize. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now I promised you 2 ideas that will also help to 10x this exercise and allow you to get more tension on your hamstring. So here's tip number 1. Tip number 1, what you're going to do is you're going to point your toes in plantar flexion, right? This is dorsiflexion, this is plantar flexion. Now, if I point my toes in plantar flexion, the contraction, oh my goodness, is completely different. And it feels as though the hamstring has to work even harder. So that's my first tip. Still using a 3-0-1 cadence. 1 second in, 3 seconds back, bracing and pushing and stabilizing against the machine. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Goodness me, that's insane. The hamstring works so hard there, as opposed to doing it in dorsiflexion. Okay, tip number 2. This one's the best one. Obviously, my hips are in a flex position, right? Wouldn't it make sense to lean forward even more and flex the hip even more? What that means, we're going to lean forward and also you're going to stabilize, you're going to lock in, you're probably going to hold on to something either here to stabilize, or you can hold on here based on the machine type you're using. So I'm going to basically lock in my body, I'm going to stabilize, and I'm going to sit up nice and tall, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. 3-0-1-0 cadence. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I can also go into plantar flexion and work even harder. Now, I'm going to give you a bonus tip. We want to challenge the muscle, right? The goal isn't to complete reps and sets, the goal is to challenge the muscle. So what I'm going to do now, as a bonus, check this one out. I'm going to sit tall, stabilize, and I'm going to go in, come halfway up, contract again, come back. That's 1 rep. I'll show you again. 1, halfway, 1, and back. You can also do that in plantar flexion too. There's no excuse. Instead of always looking at increasing load with poor form, why not try out these 3 ideas, these 3 tips to help you 10x your hamstring, which means more muscle in half the time. Cheerio, governor.